wasn't good in math or science.
Math is hard. Math is hard.
Carry the one. You know what it was? I didn't do the problem in the parentheses first. My math was off. It's episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast. We've done 100 of these podcasts that cover, well, our two loves exclusively, combining all the grid of Formula One and all the iron of American football. And I have to specify that it is red-blooded American because we do have some international listeners. So, I have to specify. Welcome to episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast. Katie kind of stole my thunder in the in the waiting room because I was about to say I need a drop here. We did it, Joe. But Katie already said that in the break room. Oh, well, I said it here. I am Sean Barry. If you are new here, welcome. We talk about Formula One and football. It's weird. It's odd. I know, but that's just who we are. Joining me, as always, along this foray into two sports that never take an off day, that being the NFL and Formula One. We have our resident NFL.com talent writer, the bald behemoth holding down the fort in the land. It is Nick Shook. And then, of course, we have holding down the fort in the true north, strong and free. She'll stand on guard for thee, our Canadian queen, Katie
Hello,
Caldwell.
friends.
And we have a guest on episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast, the great, the one, the only, Carmen Vitali from Fox Sports Radio joining the pod today. How are we doing, Carmen?
Great. I don't know. If I'm Katie, I'm taking a little bit of issue with the whole red-blooded American thing. But don't put that on her. Don't put that evil on her.
Thank you for saying that, Carmen.
She's saved from this. Okay.
It sounded wrong coming out of my mouth, granted, but I was just trying to hit on the stereotype of it all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Carmen. He does that once a show where he says something and then it's like, he's like, hello. He's like, oh yeah, us in America, and she's like, North America, hello.
I did do that one time. I was like, hey, the World Cup's coming to America, and she's like, it's coming to Canada too. I'm like, all right, first round action, calm down.
Unfortunately, America has made everything else everyone else's problem. So
So you're all American, whether you want to be or not.
At least I got the all-American issues up here. Carmen, we are so happy you are back. As I did say in the waiting room, not just friend of the show, best friend of the show, because is this your fourth time with us?
I think so. I honestly lost count. So
are we got to get her like
the crown on for best friend of the show.
Yeah, like they do for SNL. We got to get you like the smoker's jacket when you come on 5 times. Yeah, with the 5 on the patch. Yeah, exactly.
Except I'm not like, wasn't it who was it that was like he rode in on a horse, and was it Ryan Gosling, and he thought he had been on 5 times, and they were like, you've only been on 4.
And
so embarrassing.
Didn't get the smoker's jacket. I would totally do something like that. We've got a lot to get into on episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast because we are just coming off the NFL draft in my hometown of Pittsburgh, PA. We'll get into that. We'll break that all down. That's why Carmen is here, basically. We're talking winners. We're talking losers. Who had a good draft? Who had a bad draft? We'll break that all down. And then, it's been a while since we potted, guys, because quite honestly, Nick was busy getting prepared for the NFL draft to cover it for NFL.com. Formula One wasn't racing for reasons that Formula One has just decided
why
to
take
say.
The blame here. What the hell?
I wasn't putting any of the blame on you. What are you talking about? I was saying.
Honestly, Nick was just too busy. It's just his fault.
Well, no, I was saying we were giving you a wide berth because you were preparing to cover the NFL draft.
I do love a wide berth.
There's Nick's schedule. There's the Middle East war. What don't we have going on these days?
No. Katie, situations in the Middle East. That's how Formula One phrased it. Situations.
Haven't we all had a situation or two in our lives?
Sounds like life.
Well, the U.S. was dealing with its situationship. Formula One was not racing, but they will be back this week in Miami. So let's talk about
American soil.
Great time.
Whether they should be or not.
They're back on American soil. Is Miami really American? It's
no.
Floridian.
I always say that Miami is not actually the U.S.
No.
Like, Miami is some combination of like Latin America and Europe. If you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's
right.
It's not the U.S.
I definitely
feel
Miami.
We love it for that.
Right. I do feel like I'm getting charged American prices though anytime I'm walking around Brickell, which is also a problem. But yeah, you're right. It's different
More
down
than
there.
American prices.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Very
more.
Definitely more.
More.
Definitely more. Let's get into the NFL draft here, though. By the way, I know if you were listening to the last couple of pods, we promised a fun and wacky podcast to celebrate the 100th episode of the Gridiron Podcast. Because we've never done anything in a conventional way, we are going to do that wacky, wild, and crazy episode next week for episode 101. Because there was simply too much to talk about with the draft and the Miami Grand Prix. I caught
Oh my
myself.
gosh.
Katie. I caught myself.
Wow.
Caught it. You know what it was? I had to do a radio promo yesterday, and I had to say the Sancio Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And so, yeah, it's Grand Prix is fresh in my mind. We'll talk about the Miami Grand Prix coming up. And then next week, we will have a wacky, wild, weird podcast to celebrate our centennial podcast. That doesn't mean things won't get weird on this podcast, because they normally do. But we were going to do what? A mailbag, Katie, right?
Yes. So I will
Awesome.
be putting that on our socials maybe this week. Yeah.
Perfect.
Stay
and that's a
tuned.
perfect opportunity to plug our socials. Katie, where can you find us on social media?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You'd think I'd be prepared for this every time. On Instagram, you can find us at the Gridiron Pod, and at TikTok, the.gridiron.podcast. And
Perfect.
Sean, where can they email us?
You can email us because we're doing a mailbag, so please email us. And if you have any ideas that you want to see in the episode, the 100th episode celebratory episode 101, that's what we're officially calling it, maybe. Got to go through the group first.
Presented by
you
Farmers
can,
Insurance.
Right. You can email us at the Gridiron Podcast 3. That's the Gridiron Podcast number 3 altogether. Damn those other two. You'll catch on, Carmen. At
Okay.
gmail.com. Don't actually
Okay.
spell out damn those other two. It's just the Gridiron Podcast 3 at gmail.com. And without further ado, let's talk about the NFL draft. Boy, what a draft that was, right? How about it, Vic?
God damn it. I knew this was going to happen. Picks were made. Fans gathered. Entertainment was had on the stage in Pittsburgh, Sean's hometown. And we came out with some winners and losers. And we're just going to jump right to it because that's what Katie put in the doc. And I am following the leader here.
Okay, first of all, can I just say, as a Yinzer, seeing that draft,
I was hoping this part would happen. I wanted to set him up for it, and I was like, you know what? Let's just blow right through it. So go ahead,
dude. That was so cool to like be sitting on my couch watching this for all 3 days. It was like a love letter to the city of Pittsburgh. It was wonderful. I'm so happy people showed out because every one of my friends, my family, any Yinzer you talk to on the street, like, I'm not going down a draft there. You kidding me? Rat 28's going to be bumpy and fill potholes, and I'm not going down there. Traffic's going to be insane. Guess what? They were all lying. Everybody went to the draft. And it was cool.
And then some.
805,000. Yeah, and then some. 805,000.
I was like, wasn't it like 320,000 people showed up, and there's only
Yeah.
308 or 309,000 people in Pittsburgh? Like,
Yeah, yes, greater than the population of Pittsburgh.
You
showed
mean
up
to
for the
tell
first
me that
draft.
people came from Harrisburg and Philadelphia and all those other towns in between those cities to go
I'll do you
watch
one
people
better,
get-
Nick. I think people drove in from Ohio even.
Oh, stunning! I've never done that before.
Ohio.
Not
Maybe
once
even
have
all
I
the
done
way. Maybe even all the way from West Virginia.
that. Wow.
It was cool though. It was also cool to see, like, once the draft, what do they call the arena or whatever, like the pen was where they put all the fans was filled up. They just opened up Acrisure Stadium and they're like, "Come on in, sit in the stands, sit on the field, whatever. We'll put the draft on the jumbotron." It was cool. It was really cool to see all that. So, kudos to the NFL. Words I don't normally say often, but I mean, yeah. Pittsburgh showed
A
out
love
and
letter
showed up.
to Pittsburgh from Brett Michaels and Wiz Khalifa, in fact.
Yes.
Sung
Yes,
by
yes.
Brett Michaels and Wiz Khalifa.
Quite a combo,
together.
let me tell you.
And Pat McAfee and Bill Cower, and just the list went on and on and on.
The only
Kraft-
combo stronger than
Kraft
Brett
and Bill,
Michaels
by
and
the
Wiz
way.
Khalifa is French fries on a Permane sandwich.
Hell yeah. Okay, by the way, that was the one thing that did kind of annoy me. It's you had the
one?
over like doxing of like Permanis. It's like, did you know they put fries on their sandwich? Yes. Okay. Everybody, my boss was even texting me because he had to record his podcast and he was like, it's Permantes, right? No. Man. Oh, Permantes. And I had to record. I'm like, dude, it's Permanis. He's like, oh, there's no T. I'm like, there's kind of a T.
There is a
You
tea.
think-
It's a soft tea.
It's just, you think about saying the T, but then you back out halfway through saying the T. Permanis. Oh, Permane brothers. Don't even say the brothers. Bros? No, just Permanes. Permanes.
It's like how
And-
Americans say Toronto instead of Toronto.
Toronto.
Ew, I don't say Toronto.
Some.
Toronto.
Not all
Toronto.
Americans.
Oh, okay.
But
And
always an
All
American.
Midwesterners.
Yeah.
And I include Western PA in the Midwest for the
Yeah,
most part.
thank
like
you.
we all know how to say Toronto because that's how we pronounce everything.
Toronto, right?
Yes, but I think like West Coast elites and Southerners in Toronto.
Toronto.
Tell us more about different. What's the term that we're looking for? Different dialects.
Dialects, accents.
Yeah. Boom.
I'm not a really great example of it. I can't turn on a Chicago accent the way that Sean can turn on a Yinzer accent because my dad is from the East Coast. My dad's from Philly. So as much as I can surmise, my parents canceled each other out and now I just don't really have an accent and it's really kind of annoying. And
That's also what
Perfect
happens
for your
when
career.
you work. When you work in
with
media
work.
long enough, you kind of lose it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think between that and because my mother has a crazy Chicago accent. Like it's really funny to hear her speak. And then when my dad goes back east, his comes out because he kind of lost it being here in Chicago too. But like he'll start to say orange and water and all of that.
John this and John that.
Use and
Use guys
this and
doing
that
down
and the
the
other.
wars, get some hoagies.
Go get some hoagies. Yeah. Like, I could
Philadelphia.
probably switch into a Philly accent easier than I could switch into a Chicago accent, which is really funny. But
I hear
don't
Chicago
know.
in you when I hear you speak, but then I hear an American accent in all y'all.
I was gonna say, like,
Okay.
from Canadian, the A's are so incredibly different. So from
Make
like,
sure-
the way that we say A's versus the way the Canadians say A's.
Yeah.
I get
And
made
to that
fun of it
point,
constantly.
make sure you hit us up at that aforementioned email so that we can hear Katie say mailbag a
Mailbag.
billion
Mailbag.
times.
Meal bag, and every once in a while she'll drop a sorry in there too as well. So
Bag.
it is funny. That's enough talking about just my love of Pittsburgh for the draft. It was cool to see. It was really cool to see just how many terrible towels were there, the fans, everything. It was cool to see that fans were traveling in. And the show that they got was pretty decent as well, even though this was, I mean, I'm going to be honest, this was probably one of the more forgettable draft classes in a long time. If like we're being honest, the show, the spectacle was awesome. But as far as draft classes go, Carmen, Nick, feel free to jump in. Like, are we right to say that? Like, this was like, okay, let's wait till next year.
I don't like the highlight of the draft and going into it. This was true. Like, it wasn't at the sexy, flashy positions. It's along the trenches. We had 16 tight ends go on the first 2 days or whatever
Yeah.
it was. Like, nobody wants to talk about those positions. They want quarterbacks. And there was some wide receiver drama. There was some running back. We had a running back go top 3, which Nick and I actually both agreed on in the mocks. I only did a 5-pick mock because we were pressed
What
for
the
time
hell
on
is
the radio
that?
show. I know. I just did. We
Hit
just
the
mocked
first
the first
5.
5 picks. Hey, don't hate because I didn't have to do a mock draft this year. I was more than happy to not have to do one this year.
Do you know how Carmen, how they usually like the draft really starts at pick 4 or whatever? For Carmen,
Yeah.
it was the draft ends after pick 5.
The draft, yeah, exactly. Nobody cares.
Yeah, just
but
tune out from that.
there's still a lot of talent. Teams got better, and some teams got a lot better. I think when you look at it. But for the casual fan, I understand that this draft was just not super sexy, especially when you're staring down the barrel of 2027 and all of the theoretical quarterbacks that we could see in that draft.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Don't we do that every year? And I know that like next year is
Yes,
setting up to be
yes,
different.
this is a great
at number of
conversation to
different-
have. Let's go.
Yeah, at a number of different positions, it's setting up to be special. But like, we do this every year. Like at this time last year, it was Cade Klubnik and Carson Beck, and Arch was going to come out, and Lenora Sellers was going to come out of South
Garrett
Carolina.
Nussmeier was gonna
and
be
Garrett
amazing,
Nussmeier was supposed
yes.
to be awesome. And it's just like we do this every year, where the way too early mocks throw out these guys who then throw together clunkers of seasons and fall to the 3rd and 4th round. And it's like, can we stop? I don't know if it's like hype building, but placing such projections like next year's the year. Just wait till next year. Trade your picks this year for next year. Because what if next year flops just like a lot of these other drafts have flopped?
But guys, the quarterback class of next year, though, just like we were saying last year, is going to be epic.
I'm sure.
I'm
Just
so
like
ready.
Anthony's career.
I'm like, I feel like I'm on an island not being sold on Arch.
No, you're
I'm
not.
just like,
No,
I know that
you're
he,
not. You
like,
shouldn't
went
be.
through shit this year and this, that, the other, but I'm like, he's so far from a guarantee for me where we're basing I'm actually glad to have seen teams like in a weird way, the Rams and even the Steelers to a degree of not waiting until next year to be like, all right, we need backup plans right now, or we want to start developing a guy right now. The Ty Simpson pick was very interesting to me. I still don't know where I land on it being right or not.
At 13
but if they were both
too.
I'm like, did you really have to reach that high for him? Like, wouldn't he have been there? And maybe he wouldn't have been. Maybe because the Steelers, like, I don't know. Maybe if he would have been there, the Steelers would have taken him with a first round pick. I don't know.
What was your reaction right when he was drafted?
It was very much a what? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I realized it was Sean McVay, and so then it was like, we can swear, right? On this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let it rip.
I was like, fucking McVay. Like, that was my
Yeah.
first thought, was fucking McVay. And then like the stuff came out about like Les Snead being really good friends with his dad and kind of consulting on whether he should have come out. And I'm like, was this a favor? Like, listen,
And the
there are
vibe
favors
of Sean
done.
McVay in the presser, like
Right.
there were
And
some
I was like,
vibes there.
did Les Snead just go rogue? And like, was this a favor? But I mean, Les Snead and Sean McVay have been in lockstep for way too long, and I understand Sean McVay not wanting to like overly celebrate, given that Matthew Stafford is still his quarterback, and he wants Matthew Stafford to still be his quarterback. But the whole thing, I don't know, man. I'm like, hey, did you really need to pick from this draft to do it? But maybe they believe in Ty Simpson that much, and only time will tell. Because if anybody can pull something like this off, I guess it's McVay, and they don't really care about draft picks anyway. So.
We've seen that.
Yeah, you're right. F them picks. That's been their motto for a long time. I feel like it's one of two schools of thought here. You can avoid pissing off Matthew Stafford and go get a weapon and please 2020 2021 Aaron Rodgers or whatever it was, and say, oh, we're playing for right now. We were so close last year. Let's go get Stafford another weapon. Or you could avoid being the team that is now Aaron Rodgers' team, at least as we expect it to be in 2026, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have not, Sean, this is not a dig at you, but just reality, who have not had an answer at the position since Ben Roethlisberger retired because they didn't adequately plan for him to retire. When they had the opportunity to, they had the idea that he was on the back nine, and they just never did anything. They tried with Mason Rudolph. That never really worked out. They never really put any real effort toward doing it again. They were never picking high enough to really be able to. So you think if you're the Rams and you're like, all right, well, we have 13. And we have this pick because the Falcons were dumb and traded up with us last year. We're probably never going to be this high in the first round to be able to take a guy that we want who could be our future. So we spend it now and we drop him into a situation where there's zero pressure to produce. He can learn from Stafford and McVay for 2 to 3 years, and we'll take the drama and the attention and the displeasure internally that comes with it temporarily. By the time you get to the season, you think that'll all be settled, sorted out, and you know exactly where everybody stands and you go into it. But man, they did not do a good job from a PR standpoint when it came to making that pick, because they put their coach, they hung him out there to dry. Just fend for yourself, Sean.
I don't think there would have been anything wrong with Sean McVay saying exactly what he was doing. Be like, hey, I really believe in this kid, but I want to make sure that we all understand who our quarterback is and continues to be.
And he didn't do that.
And he didn't do that.
He basically gushed too much about Ty Simpson. He gushed about him, and then he was like, oh, but by the way, Stafford's still the guy.
And then it was like, what?
Yeah.
But it's a decent enough point, and I always talk about the Green Bay Packers as being able to operate in a way that unlike any other team, because they don't have an owner, right? They are owned by the community, they are owned by shareholders, there is a board that you have to answer to as the team president, this, that, the other. And so it affords them an ability to plan ahead and to plan for these ideal situations, like drafting Jordan Love in the first round and letting him sit for 3 years. Like, that doesn't fly at most other organizations. However, I think the Rams are in a bit of a little uncharted territory, because they have the track record of success, and you have the continuity of Les Snead and Sean McVay, who have been very successful throughout their tenure with the Rams, and it kind of opens up different avenues to kind of act in an idyllic world when your roster is pretty well set, you don't have any overly pressing needs, and you can have the luxury of planning for the future, whereas most teams don't have that. So like I said, I never figured out where I landed on it, because I was like, I see what they did, And I really don't think that we're going to know if that was the right call for another few years.
And this
Nick,
is overly
hold on.
simplistic, but go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll push back on the Steelers point you made a little bit though. I'm not trying to defend them as much, but do you know how many? Like, I'm 34 years old now. Do you know how many times the Steelers have picked in the top 10 in my lifetime?
Exactly. They haven't.
Once, and they traded up into the top 10 to do it, and they took Devin Bush with the 10th overall pick. That worked out.
There
you go. Former Cleveland Brown. Had a court date in Pittsburgh this last year.
He had a career year last year with the Browns.
He did. While striving to court dates in Western PA.
That's a valid point.
But it's not a failure to plan ahead as well. It's an inability to do it and so many people have told me, like, man, the Steelers, they got to bottom out. They just got to lose a couple of years. It's like, that's not what they do. And you might hate them for it. You might hate them because they don't do it like that. But like to Carmen's point as well, the Packers have a way of doing things. The Steelers have a way of doing things. Success is not measured by bottoming out for 5 years and then going and taking a shot on a quarterback that may not hit in the first place. How many times have people missed on number 1, number 2, number 3 overall quarterbacks? It happens all the time. It's not a guaranteed thing anymore.
A lot of those misses are a product of reaching on a guy in the top 5 and then immediately throwing him out there and expecting him to save you. And the Rams don't have to do that, because that's the point I was going to make is throughout this very successful McVay, Les Snead era, what have they always had? They've always had a quarterback. Whether it was Jared Goff going into his second year, whether it was trading in for Matthew Stafford, they've always had the answer. The one year they didn't was 2022 when Stafford got hurt, and they got a real good taste of what it feels like to not have an answer at quarterback. And I think that this is what they're trying to do, is prevent that from ever happening, because let's be honest, Stafford's kind of had him over a barrel the last couple of years in the offseason with his whole will I, won't I play, will I, entertain going and playing for the Raiders. Oh, wait, no, that's just to get more money from you. And this kind of gives them insurance against that, and also a long-term plan and the opportunity to develop a guy that they believe in. So I think it's a fine move in the grand scheme of things. It's just that you're going to piss off your reigning NFL MVP quarterback in the process.
But you can't see a career year from Stafford because you pissed him off.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that.
I just think about the conversation we were having heading into the season last year, where everybody was so worried about his health, where it's like, are we even going to be seeing a lot of Matthew Stafford this season? And then how many weeks did it take before he was firmly in the MVP conversation? And how quickly that changed from the conversation in training camp to what actually came about on the field.
It's crazy how that back injury went from being a problem to nothing.
Right? Exactly.
I just can't imagine rooting for a team who is being held hostage by a 40-something-year-old quarterback.
Oh,
couldn't be me.
No, couldn't be you.
Couldn't be me.
You at all, Sean.
Speaking of which, this is a natural transition. I know this has happened outside of round 1. But, Sean, how do you feel about new Steelers quarterback Drew Aller? Hey! The answer is here! All your problems are gone!
If you would have told me heading into this last college football season that Drew Aller was going to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have been ecstatic. I would have been over the moon. We found our quarterback. And then the first 6 games of the 2025 college football season happened, and I'm thinking, there's something wrong there. And by the way, the post-draft analysis of all of this was, Aller's coming off an injury, and the consistency wasn't quite there. Terry Smith from Penn State kind of did some damage control after Aller was drafted, where he was saying, like, his tools didn't really fit our system or our system. Maybe he was taking shots at James Franklin. It's all Andy Koltnicki's fault. Yeah, or taking shots at Andy Koltnicki, the former OC at Penn State. Maybe he was taking shots at someone, or maybe he was just trying to help out Drew. I don't know. All I know is for 4 years at Penn State, one, he sat behind, who was the ginger? Sean Clifford. And then for 3 seasons.
Who was the ginger?
He couldn't put it together. It was just, Nick Singleton, save us. Katron Allen, save us. Where's Tyler Warren? For the love of God, where is Tyler Warren? Well, last year he wasn't there to bail him out. And it showed. He has all the variables to make a good quarterback, right? He's big, he's tall, he's fast, good arm strength, he's accurate. But for some reason, it's just in that moment between the snap and the pass, something up here doesn't reach his right arm or doesn't reach his legs. There's a decision-making problem that I think Drew Aller has. So I'm shocked, honestly, that the Steelers took him in the 3rd round. I don't think he is a 3rd-round talent. I think he has first-round talent, but his body of work, I think he was a day 3 guy. I really don't like that draft pick. I really don't. But if the plan is, hey, let's have him and Will Howard battle it out, We've seen that already. Will Howard won that battle in college multiple times. Well, not multiple times. They only played once.
With also the best defense in the country, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I laughed when they made the pick. I think I texted you guys laughing.
I'm not a fan.
Steelers can't help themselves.
I hope they prove me wrong.
I thought it was going to be more along the day 3 lines, but I was also like, all right, you're waiting out Aaron Rodgers. This is no guarantee. That can't preclude you from taking a guy early on day 3 just to have someone there that provides some competition in the worst case scenario that you don't get Aaron Rodgers back, or even you take a guy that maybe is a developmental guy that you think could maybe possibly turn into something, and he does sit behind Aaron Rodgers, and that gives him the best chance at being good because he gets to ease into his NFL career and learn from, one of the best to ever throw the football, for whatever we think of him as a guy. Like, he's a very good football player and has been. Although we don't know if he would take on that mentorship role as much.
Yeah, I don't know about
that.
that.
Like he did last year, though, with Will Howard.
It does. It does seem like he did a little bit. And he was much quieter last year when he was with the Steelers. Like, he really kept a lid on it. As someone who had to cover this man in Green Bay, and then the transition to the Jets, he was really kind of tame the whole year with the Steelers, like, comparatively.
Because before that, he was doing the most every single day.
The most. And, like, he wasn't reliably on the McAfee show every Tuesday like he was like in previous stops, and so you just didn't have to hear him talk as much. And I was like, please, can this just be the Aaron Rodgers that we get?
This is, I think, the biggest drama last year was when he showed up to training camp and he had a ring on his finger.
The wedding ring that was with the wife we've still never seen.
Who's your wife? That nice question, guy. What? Is she? Are you actually married? Is this real? I still don't know.
Like, I saw this coming a mile away where I'm like, you were never going to have a resolution about this guy prior to the draft. And so if you wanted to take a shot, you wanted to take a stab. Now, was the third round a little rich for Drew Aller? Yeah, sure. Yes. But I also kind of thought, like, I actually talked about it on my radio show where I was like, I could see them go out early day 3 and go get a Drew Aller, go get Garrett Nussmeier, go get a guy like that where you're like, all right, worst comes to worst, we have someone serviceable that could potentially go in there. The Steelers aren't built around their quarterback anyway. So, like, just as long as you've got a body in there and you've got some competition, great.
Speaking of the Steelers, can I real quick go back to the first round and please someone, Carmen, help me. He's a Sun Devil. I know you're a Sun Devil. How do I say his last name?
Ian Otchor.
Okay. So when they drafted the head honcho guy, 21st overall.
Big Max.
By the way,
Ian Otchor.
On my list was offensive line. That was my list, number 1 overall. My producer texted me earlier in the day. Actually, I texted him when because he's a Titans fan, when they drafted Jeremiah Love. Running back at 3, and he was like, dude, he's like, I actually love it. I'm like, go for it, man. Like, you got your running back, you got your quarterback. I was like, you got some defense. I was like, you guys are starting to build something a little bit there. I see it. I like it. And you did take the best offensive player in the draft. And he was like, who do you guys want? I said, I want offensive line. I said, their offensive line has been just porous last couple of years. We don't know what's happening with Broderick Jones with his neck injury. Not that he was that great to begin with anyway. At times he resembled a turnstile, and Aaron Rodgers was running for his life when no man that old should be running. It was just kind of one of those situations where we need offensive line. It's not a sexy pick, but there was a lot, like you guys said, there was a lot of offensive linemen to take this year. The trenches were good. So I'm happy that they went offensive line, but I also texted my producer and I said, but I would take a receiver if someone like Mekhi Lemon was sitting there at 21. We all know what happened then. Mekhi Lemon is on the phone with the Steelers, and he's like, hold on, the Eagles are calling me. Oh, lo and behold. First of all, I'm never a fan of trading to your division rival. Cowboys, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Or I know they're not division rivals.
That has become more and more common because the Lions and the Vikings have been doing that for the last few years, and like the Packers, there's been a lot of intra NFC North trades over the last couple of years, which is I think that people are just like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I'm with you where I'm like, bring bring some hate back.
Yeah, like I don't think the Ravens and Steelers would ever do that. I don't care if Tomlin and Harbaugh are gone. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Do it.
Or even, I know they're not division rivals, but the Chiefs and Bills. They may not be division rivals, but they are AFC rivals, and we know they are going to be in the playoffs, probably playing each other. Why would you make a trade in the draft to allow the Chiefs to go get Xavier Worthy? What are you doing, Buffalo? But anyway, I digress. So many people, Nick, you even commented on this. Day of the draft, you texted us that so many people in Pittsburgh were just losing their minds, that the Steelers got pipped from Mekhi Lemon, and the Eagles went and got him. And how could the Cowboys? And it's a bad look. God, I didn't care. I really didn't care, honestly. I didn't. Is it a bad look?
It pulled back the curtain so much, though. Like, I feel like this draft in general pulled back the curtain on how this all actually goes down. Like, we were never supposed to know how all of the sausage was made, because, like, now the mystery behind everything is kind of taken out of it when you're like, teams are on the phone with these guys, multiple picks ahead of, because they know who, like, whoever's picking around them, they know who they're picking, because these are, like, they have dedicated guys in each front office that are figuring out what the teams around them are doing at all times, and, like, on the phone, and, like, having this little network of spies and stuff. And now I feel like, it was Wizard of Oz. They, like, pulled back the curtain, and you see the wizard is just this little guy with a bunch of contraptions, and you're just like, man, I didn't need to know all of this. You could just, I mean, we knew all of this, but, like, you're getting rid of the mystery of all of this. We're like, these guys are on the phone, but picks before.
Carmen, people in Pittsburgh were ready to, like, have Omar Khan's head, because how could he lose out on Mekhi Lemon and then just take an offensive lineman? He panicked and did it. I'm like, guys, like, he took a pretty good offensive lineman who gave up 0 sacks all season long, went toe-to-toe with the guy drafted number 2 overall. No?
Had a great season.
No? Sitting here patiently. I have 2 issues with this.
Please,
I have an issue too, but you go first, Nick.
You already have a right tackle in Troy Fautanu. You don't need another right tackle. Now,
Max
if you're
has
not
never
sure,
played anything other
that has never played anything other than right tackle. Like, this is a problem. Are you going to move Fautanu to left tackle? What's the future of Broderick Jones? I don't like the fit. I love you, not sure. I wanted him to go to Cleveland because they needed a right tackle. And I thought he would be there around that pick, which he was. A few picks before the Browns came up, he got him at 21 with the Steelers. And that's an issue for me. It feels like a pick that they made because they realized that they got scooped on Mekhi Lemon, and they looked at their board and they went, okay, the next guy down, Maxi Iheanacho. Let's just take him. And
that's what a draft board is for, though.
Yes, but it felt like a scramble, and I felt like they scrambled and chased the next 2 rounds. Going and getting Jeremy Bernard in the 2nd round just to fulfill the Steelers fans' needs for a receiver, the bloodlust, the desire, the hunger for a receiver. They're like, here, we'll go get this guy from Alabama. Are you happy now? And I felt like that was
I actually do like him. I thought that was a good pick, actually.
I know, but it just felt like this entire draft, because they got, I don't even know what the term would be for that. I'm just saying scoop, but like
pipped.
I guess sure, we'll go with that.
But they would have done enough research on Maxi Iheanacho that if he was that high on their board, they would know that he had only ever played right tackle, and they still had him on the board anyway. So I would have to think that they have a plan, whether it is to put Fontenot over onto the left side, which, I mean, I'm never a fan of, like, putting these guys switching sides, and I don't know, but
let me ask you one thing.
Fontenot seems to be a good enough athlete that maybe he could do it.
I'm fine with that. The guy, I think he's got great potential. I think he's going to be an excellent tackle in the NFL if the fit ends up being right. My other issue with this entire process, though, is don't call the guy until you know that he's going to be available when you pick. Don't tip your hand. I know, like you said, Carmen, everybody's trying to figure out what everybody's doing and everything else, but don't even let that be a possibility. It's sloppiness in my part.
True, but like, again, it was the pick before. Like, the Cowboys were on the clock and they called him. Like, it wasn't like it was like pick 15 when the Bucs were picking. It was like the Cowboys were on the clock. It all happened so fast.
They heard.
I heard.
And that's enough.
Carmen, let me ask you this, though, because I know you used to work for the Buccaneers and you still follow them, right?
I do.
Okay. How many people on that starting offensive line were playing the same position a couple years ago? They've moved Tristan Wirfs, they've moved Luke Gedeke, they've moved Grant Barton, they have moved Ben Bredesen, and it's all been a pretty good offensive line.
Yes. However, You have
Tristan Wirfs is an all-pro.
Like, Tristan Wirfs isn't just an all-pro. Tristan Wirfs is an alien, and he made that look so much easier than anybody has any God-given right to. Also, Tristan was terrified to do that. But essentially what the Bucks did with him was they showed him the number of a contract extension as a right tackle, and then showed him a number of a contract extension as a left tackle. And that is essentially how they got him to do it, because he was terrified to do that. And I talked to him afterwards, like after his first season, where I told him this exact thing, where I was like, you made that look easy. You make every argument I ever have with people about offensive linemen switching sides just a completely moot point, and I hate you for it. I love you. I love you so much. And he was like, Carmen, I was terrified. And that took a lot of work. And so we can't take for granted that just because these guys are freak athletes that they can switch sides, because now all of their muscle memory is working against them. And like, I've talked to so many guys where it literally is like you as a right-handed person writing things down, now having to write left-handed. Like, that's how hard
what was the term to use?
He feels like
I don't
such
think
an
it was writing
exception to the rule.
It was, and he is, because he's an alien, like you said. But what was the phrasing you used, Carmen? It wasn't writing.
What was it? I don't remember.
It was wiping your ass with your left hand.
Oh, yeah, it was. You're right. Sorry, I blocked that out. I tried, because I have to whitewash it. I have to whitewash it when I talk about it, so I always have to, like...
Yes,
not here.
Writing, yes.
Not here.
Uncensored
No,
here.
I've now just, like, convinced myself that that's what he said. No, you're so right.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this moment real quick. We have some people in the chat. The chat's hot today, guys. Okay, so first, some of the ones that I can actually access on Riverside, which is not the best. We have Leon over on YouTube saying Steelers have a real nice trio of receivers now, so there's that. We have Chris over here, loyal viewer, says, I think the Steelers got a better player out of this. And then Leon again said Steelers desperately need an offensive tackle anyway. Broderick Jones has been a disaster, and he is hurt anyway. But again, he has to make that move from the right side to the left side for that to come to fruition. And last but not least, yeah, you're right, or somebody else does. Last but not least, Godsend, another loyal viewer. Shout out to Godsend. This is one that I can't surface in here because this thing kind of sucks. So, Carmen, you'll appreciate this. He said, huge guest, let's go. And then he said, Carmen and Dave are such an NFL power couple.
They are.
When I tell you, I honestly have not, I didn't have a lot of draft focus coverage this year, so I wasn't super focused, like laser focused, at least not in years past. Like, this was the first year I wasn't in an NFL building for the draft in probably 6 or 7 years. But just the conversations that we have over while we're cooking dinner or whatever, like, has essentially was my prep for the draft. Because if you know Dave, like, he does the show with Dane Brugler once a week called Building the Beast. He's been doing it all season long. He is just a wealth of draft knowledge. So the conversations in our household are so centered around the draft that, like, that was all the prep I really needed. Because I was like, well, I know what's going on now, like, just because of the fact that I live with a legitimate draftnik, so
romance is not dead, people.
It's not dead. Shout out to him though, because he's the only reason I can talk about the draft this year.
And covering the NFL, it's like coal mining. You can't wipe it off when you come home.
You can't.
Sean, we should probably
what a Pittsburgh thing to say, Sean.
It is.
Thank you. We got. You guys know what a Pittsburgh potty is, right?
No.
Did they not cover this in the draft? You don't know what all right, just
not history class either.
Please guess. All three of you, what a Pittsburgh potty is.
I'd rather not.
Dropping a deuce in a cave? I don't know.
So in Pittsburgh, there were toilets, just open toilets in your basement, like in the corner of your basement.
Oh, in the basement. Yeah.
Because coming home from the mills, you'd be so covered in dirt and stuff. You know, the homemaker, the wife, or whoever didn't want you to go upstairs, dirty everything up, so you get changed in the shower and do your business downstairs.
That's a Midwestern toilet. Like that, I've never heard it called a Pittsburgh potty, but it's just a Midwestern toilet. Like that, like people had that in their basement. It's like in their laundry room. There's just a random toilet in their
just
corner.
A random toilet. It's Pittsburgh potty. Yeah, that's what we called growing up. All right, anyway, let's go to winners and losers so Carmen can get out of here because she has spent enough of her Thursday evening with us here on the Gridiron Podcast. Let's go around the room. Carmen, by all means, chivalry is not dead. Your winners and your losers. Winners or losers, you don't have to get both, whatever.
I will go with the winner for sure, and I'm not just saying this because A, we just talked about them, and B, Sean, you're in Tampa, but I really do think that the Buccaneers had a plan, And they executed that plan, and I love to see it. Like, I love when teams have a type, and I think that the really fun thing about the draft in general is that when it's over, you see, it tells you so much, if you're reading between the lines, what teams think of themselves, what their priorities are, where they think they're at, and you can get that from their draft classes. And the Bucks, to their credit, were like, hey, we cannot be this bad on defense with a head coach like Todd Bowles, and that just cannot happen. So what did they do? They went out and they got the kind of guys that are all business, that are absolute football obsessed, just hardworking mother effing dogs. And that's what they got. And across the board, they just got these guys that are all business. They beefed up, obviously with the Ruben Bain pick. I mean, I can't tell you how excited. I talked to multiple people in that building right after they made that pick, and they were all just in disbelief that Ruben Bain had felt that far. And I ended up getting a quote that I ended up putting out into the social media world, because one of the people inside the buildings was like, hey, he's not about that cute shit. And it was because he did not look in the mirror on his way out. I did not bring that up to the person I talked to within the building that was in that war room. He was like, I've never seen a player skip that mirror. As long as the mirror has been a thing, I've never seen a player skip that mirror and skip his photo op. And he's like, it's a really small thing, but it's a really telling thing. And he's not about that cute shit. And I was like, you're so like, it is telling. It's absolutely telling as to who that man is. So I loved their draft top to bottom. I think the Bucks got a ton better. I think that this is going to be a really solid team because they have the foundation, and that defensive line between Kalijah Kancey, Vita Vea, and now with Ruben Bain, like, it is just horrendous. Like, good luck to any offensive line in the NFC South. It's horrendous in the best way. So if, and I think the other thing I really liked about Ruben Bain too is that he, in the same vein of not being with the cute shit, he's a really good run defender, and he can really clean up against the run. And that is something that is so important in this defense. And it's something that's fallen a little bit by the wayside, where it starts with stopping the run. This defense doesn't work unless they can stop the run. And that's where they've fallen in the last couple of years.
His arm length.
I don't want to hear it. I don't.
No, because here's the thing. For all the concerns about his arm length, we're overlooking his tape, which is like naturally instinctive, does the right thing, fits well, sets the edge against the run, which is like exactly what Carmen's talking about here. And then you have the production as a pass rusher. I also couldn't believe that he was still there at 15. I thought it was one of the biggest home runs hit in the entire draft.
Agreed. I was ecstatic about it, honestly, and as was everyone else, obviously. And I do think, like, some of the more, like, the free agency pickups they had, like, I know he's getting older, but, like, Alex Anzalone, as someone who covered him in Detroit, like, he's an extraordinarily intelligent player. And so, like, what he lacks in some explosiveness, he makes up for with his anticipation and just how well he sees the field. And having him in the middle of that defense, I think, is going to pay dividends now that you no longer have a guy like Levante David in the middle there to kind of direct traffic and do all of that kind of stuff. So I love their secondary, and I've loved their secondary for a while, but like you had like Antoine Winfield Jr. being at the center of all of it, and then I love Tyke Smith.
Dude,
and I really think that he's special, and he can be special with a complementary defense. Like when all three levels of this defense are working, I really love what they did in this draft, and I just think that they're so much better for it. And like they're set on offense from everything that I can tell. I don't know. I really believe in them, but I mean, I'm not going to pretend like there's not a little bit of bias that goes into this, because like I still love them very, very much. And a lot of the coaches, I won't say all of them, but like a lot of the coaches that were there when I was there are still there. So I'm rooting for them on a human level because I know them, I know their families. I'm still like very good friends with so many of them that I want them to do well. But I also believe in and have believed in that front office. And Jason Light drafts extremely well. He always has. So this is something that I think this draft class is gonna pay dividends for them. And like I said, I'd be really scared if I was an offensive line in the NFC South.
Show us the ring. Show us the ring. Where's the ring?
All right. Well,
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to engagement ring, Nick.
No.
Like, yeah, let's see it.
Those are a dime a dozen. I mean, yeah,
Come
she's
on.
getting married soon, but
Everyone's got
no.
a lot of them, whatever.
No, we
Okay,
gotta
well,
see
one
the
of us is
ring.
excited about that
Building
ring too,
anticipation
okay?
here.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Katie thought we were talking about the engagement ring. Like,
Oh, look at it, it's shiny. Oh, it moves. Oh.
It moves?
Yeah, look, it's spinning. Got her little
Unbelievable.
Jason of Beverly Hills box.
and you thought we were talking about an engagement ring.
Who cares about an engagement ring these days?
Right, damn it,
Right,
doesn't. How
Sky.
to get a Super Bowl ring?
Come on.
Gotta have stories. Yeah. So,
You got to lose
and
your
I've got my little my game worn Jensen jersey. Very good friend of mine. That he gave me. Actually, he threw it at my face. At one point, and that's framed. We got cute little. Well, there's Dave's Emmy back there, so
Dave's Cowboys helmet too. You
and
know,
his
from
Cowboys
time.
helmet's signed by a bunch of people. It's signed by like
Power
a bunch of people
couple
he
is
worked with in some of the
right.
teams.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, good time to surface this as well. Chris says, Dave is the best, by the way. And then you'll love this, Carmen. Though I missed when his closet was exclusively plaid shirts.
We've worked on that.
I knew it was a team effort.
You can tell he's about to be a married man because the closet has changed.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's been a
yes.
glow up. We actually were talking about like we're going overseas to get married and we're going on our honeymoon right afterwards. And I like had to sit him down and be like, hey, so we're gonna have to put a little bit more effort into this trip and packing for this trip than maybe we have prior to that, because I'm not gonna have you wearing exclusively soccer jerseys on a beach in Greece. It's not going to happen, and it's not going to be comfortable, okay? They're polyester. He gets half of them from China. Like, it's not going to be comfy. So I need some linen in your life.
That's appropriate over there, though. That is very appropriate.
No,
to
no,
just wear
no,
soccer
no. I'm
jerseys
siding
over
with
there.
Carmen. Linen.
Listen, do you know I have been curating my wardrobe for like 3 months at this point? This man has to match my vibe. I'm not going stepping out there at a beach club on Mykonos and being like, yeah, he's wearing a soccer jersey.
She has a capsule wardrobe going, people. Come on.
Not even. It's gonna be. I'm overpacking so incredibly. There's silks. There's whatever. There's a lot involved. There's bright colors. There's whites. There's whatever. And I'm like, all right, you're gonna need some linen. So he, bless his heart, he did go to Abercrombie and got himself fitted.
All right,
with
Dave.
some, like
Way to go,
button-ups,
Dave.
short sleeve, linen shorts, that kind of deal.
Is Abercrombie no longer like exclusively for like teenagers? Did they
Where
make a
have
switch?
you been,
Sean, you gotta watch the documentary.
Sorry, my God. Clearly, I have struck a nerve.
The last like 3-4 years, Abercrombie has really
Even
really,
longer,
like,
I'd
turned
say.
everything around.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
turned
maybe
it
even
around.
longer. You're so right.
They
You're so
got
right.
themselves into some hot water.
I
So
know
they
that.
have
They
been
got
on a
longer.
redemption tour.
I know
Now
about
they're on a
that.
redemption tour.
I know about
And
that.
now
stuff.
I got to have my cathartic experience of walking into an Abercrombie dressing room, trying on a pair of jeans, and them being too big on me. I'm like, wow, this is if my 16-year-old self could see me now.
You're like,
My
I can still
16-year-old
smell
self,
that
who was
store.
not a big girl, still not fitting into the sizes at Abercrombie.
Can I still get like the wall of multicolored polos?
Yeah, I guess honestly,
Wow,
there's
Abercrombie has
I'm
changed.
actually shocked that you don't know this because they have a whole deal with McLaren. So they have like all of this really cool McLaren merchandise and
Yeah.
like really cool like
All right,
vintage
I'm going
looking
there now.
sweatshirts and shirts and yeah.
We've been
Like, they
Abercrombie,
have
not a
whole-
sponsor, by the way, but if they wanted to be.
If they wanted to be, they should be. Yeah, like they've sent me a few things, like, but not enough where I'm like, I promise you, I have been preaching the gospel of Abercrombie for like the last like 3 or 4 years. So.
All right, there we go. Now I might have to check it out because I too am trying. I've just cleaned out my closet today, so I'm gonna have to go out there.
I should have worn my McLaren sweatshirt. I have a McLaren sweatshirt from Abercrombie.
Katie, you got a winner?
I think the Raiders had a really good draft. And obviously it doesn't help where they picked, but I like what they did it with having a natural succession plan by bringing in Kirk Cousins, so there's not a ton of pressure, because we've seen so many teams just break their first overall quarterback so many times. So I feel like they played the long game with this one, and the rest of their draft, it looked like they got some really good picks. Like I like the McCoy pick in the 4th round. Obviously, that feels like a longer term move to me because of the knee issue, but like there was a world where he could have gone so much earlier. And as a Seahawks fan, I'm like grieving Clint Kubiak. I love that for them that they have him, but I feel like they did a good job relative to what the team looked like before. Like, obviously, this exercise is always so funny because nobody knows who won or lost the draft until like 3, 4, or 5 seasons out. But I thought they did a great job for being a franchise that I don't always have the highest expectations of. But yeah, I think it's smart how they're dealing with the quarterback situation to where he doesn't just be thrown into it and then totally broken.
And you got a guy who like actually will be like, yeah, first of all, you overpaid for Kirk Cousins, and B, you're like,
everyone has been lately.
Not really.
Everybody has always.
Exactly.
Shout out
That's
his
true.
agent.
Legendary bag getter, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Legendary bag getter.
Yeah.
But
Which
also
I love
good
that for
guy.
Kirk.
Like, if you're going to say, like, if I'm a Steelers fan, like, hey, we're going to bring in Kirk Cousins to mentor either Will Howard or Drew Aller, I'd be like, all right, cool. If you're saying we're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers to mentor, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think, I mean, he'll give them some notes. He'll slack them.
He will make some facial expressions
this is my hot
towards
take,
them.
though. I'm not entirely convinced that Kirk Cousins is just going to roll over and take this mentorship role. I think that he's still kind of like, I'm a starter. I want to be treated like a starter, and I'm going to prove to you I'm still a starter, and I still have gas left in this tank. And I think that there is going to be a little bit more friction than perhaps we're all talking about, knowing Kirk Cousins and covering Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I don't see him just being like happy to be there.
No,
even with as much
that's a
money
good
as
point,
they're paying.
Carmen. Plus, his pre-existing relationship with Clint Kubiak, I think, helps him stay in that role maybe a little longer.
And
But
I
both
think
him and
that Clint
Fernando
Kubiak's-
Mendoza are so golly gee willikers. Oh gosh,
Oh my
guys,
gosh,
happy
I
to
didn't
be
even
here.
think
Kirk Cousins is not golly gee willikers though. Like if you watch
He's
him
Kirk
on a football field,
O'Chains.
if you watch him on the football field, if you watch him on a sideline, someone like again, I've covered this man. Like he is fiery and like he is a competitor. And again, we joke about the legendary bag getting, but so much of that is driven by Kirk. I have talked to his agent about it, where his agent's like, no, this is him. He is a cutthroat businessman. And I'm like, he does not, but because he does like the Supercuts commercials and he looks like a Cole's dad, we all just think that he's just like this, happy-go-lucky whatever. And it's like, he's not. He's a competitor.
And I think Clint Kubiak would be perfectly fine
Compliment,
with Kirk manning that job, perhaps for the whole season, by the way. I
We
think he'd be
also
fine with that.
did officially get a let's fucking go from Mendoza. So we did.
These men are going to be, he's going to be corrupted much quicker than.
No,
For
Carmen.
losers,
He's gonna walk down Fremont Street and be like, oh my god.
what is this? My losers, I put the Jags. I just felt like a lot of their picks felt very
Jags.
vibes based and not necessarily in a good way. A lot of their picks I looked at was kind of like, all right, then maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But like the tight end, was it the Texas A&M tight end, Nate?
Yeah.
What was his last name?
Boerkircher. Yeah.
Boerkircher. I felt like that was a good pick, but it felt a little soon for me. I'm not an expert at the draft, but that was my kind of takeaway from it.
A blocking tight end at 56, yeah, pretty early.
Yeah. And isn't he like
in
25?
a draft where that many tight ends went, apparently you probably needed to go that early because there were like 16 of them that went in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And out of the order we all thought they would go in too. Like,
no, there was
throw a dart at the board, blind.
Trust me, like
Just-
Sam Roush coming to Chicago, everybody was very up in arms about that. But I was like, if Ben Johnson has earned anything, it is the right to choose his tight end and for us to trust him. So, please.
I trust him with my life.
I trust him. Yeah.
Nick,
pretty
you
much
got a winner
everything.
and a loser?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this brief because we've had Carmen for far too long already, and I would like to let her go.
It's never long enough.
I know. I wish it was forever. The winner would be the Browns. I know this sounds biased, but I just think that they did a great job of navigating from 6 to 9 on that trade, still getting the tackle that they wanted, getting 2 very different receivers in Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, and then trading back up into the second round to get Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, a guy that a lot of us thought would go in the teens or the 20s of the first round and was still there. I don't think that you could do much better with your first 4 picks than Andrew Berry did. They get Austin Barber and a swing tackle, and I really like Parker Brailsford, one of my favorite centers at the Combine. Good depth center, probably going to be your future starting center, especially if Elton Jenkins can't stay healthy. You need insurance against that because he's had injury issues in his time in Green Bay. So I like their draft class, and they also threw another quarterback into the mix so they could move on from Dylan Gabriel when they drafted Taylon Green, who's, somebody who has a cannon for an arm, has no idea where it's going, but he's a hell of an athlete. So good job for them. And then the loser, very quickly, comment if you will. I would put the Packers in there because they didn't add any offensive guys of note. Like this is an offense that said goodbye to a couple of players this offseason. One of them being Dontavian Wicks in deal with the Eagles. They added a center. I mean, Elton Jenkins left, and he wasn't the only offensive lineman that left as well. And it just felt like they kind of just picked from whatever was available. They didn't, pick in the first round. Cisse from South Carolina, I think at 52 was the right spot for that, but the rest of this class does not inspire a lot of excitement in me right now. So you got to trust Matt LaFleur in the front office and everything else, but as of now on paper, when we really don't know what the hell we're talking about, I thought it was one of those drafts that was forgettable at best.
I agree,
I felt
Nick.
that way about the Niners too.
I thought the Browns had a really good draft. Like I got to give them their flowers. I liked the KC Concepcion pick there late in the first, and which, by the way, I didn't know that the C in KC is Concepcion. That's like a nickname. So his name is literally like
Concepcion.
Yeah, K Concepcion. It's nice. Like what the hell? So anyway, no, I thought the Browns had a good draft. My winners, easy for me to say because I cover the team, but I'm going to agree with Carmen, the Buccaneers. Who would have thought that Ruben Bain Jr. would have been waiting there at 15? A lot of people in Tampa did, because as soon as that report came out that he was driving a car on St. Patrick's Day 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, where someone unfortunately died, you knew he was going to fall a couple of picks. At one point, he was a top 5 to top 10 draft pick. He fell to 15. And Jason Light was right there to scoop him up. A Miami pass rusher going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Never been done before, I don't think. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Never.
Wound up in a Super Bowl trophy.
Never any standout defensive liendman from Miami to Tampa.
Although it had been a while since they had taken any players out of Miami, and then in this draft they took 2.
Yeah.
So it had been since. Maybe not since, but it had been I think it had been like a decade since they've
taken dudes who grew up in Miami, just haven't taken any Hurricanes.
Oh yeah, but not actually went to Miami.
That's a programmatic failure on the part of Miami.
I like where Jason Light went, though. They needed help on the defense. They got some help with Trotter in the second round linebacker. I think he'll fit in well there because now you have a crowd there, middle linebacker. You can get some help with Levante David retiring. The question, of course, from everyone was, how can you replace Mike Evans? Guys, you just drafted Emeka Egbuka last year. Like, that guy, he is going to replace Mike Evans eventually, but he is a rookie in the NFL. Started off super hot, got injured, and then didn't finish out the year great. He was at one point the unanimous rookie of the year and then kind of faltered off. I think he'll be fine. You also still have Chris Godwin. You have Jalen McMillan. You have 5 tight ends now. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you, Jason Light. You have 5 of them. My only knock on Jason Light, and Carmen, I think you'll agree with me on this, is how the hell did he not draft that offensive lineman out of Iowa, Jennings? How did a red-headed, mulleted man not make his way to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Jason Light loves big burly gingers.
It's like they still have Cody Mock.
Yeah.
You can't have 2 gingers. Like 2 gingers is too many gingers.
They already have Cokeefed. They already have 2 gingers.
On the offensive line.
So 3 is definitely too many.
You can only have 2. You can only have 1 ginger on the offensive line. You can have more gingers than that. But there can never be 2 gingers on the offensive line. That's too much ginger.
But I like what the Bucs did. I think they addressed the needs and they had a good time. My other winner is the Steelers, not for their overall body of work, but because they gave us the best moment of the draft when they took Eli Heidenreich out of Navy in the 7th round of the NFL draft.
I thought he was going to go higher than that. I really did.
Which, by the way, everyone again, Steelers fans are oddly pessimistic for a team that's won 6 Super Bowls because they think that they just drafted Eli Heidenreich because he's a local boy and it's a feel-good story. He's from Navy. I'm like, no. Have you seen him play? Like, I cover USF, so I have to watch the American Conference. The dude can ball. Like, he is going to be a good guy either on special teams, in the slot, at running back. Like, he will find his way onto the field.
And he's a willing blocker and when it comes to pass protection too.
He's also a football player.
Can I remind you that the Bears just got one of their starting running backs out of the 7th round last year in Kyle Monangai. So it can be done. It has been done.
And by the way, someone posted I forget who it was. Someone posted his combine stats next to Christian McCaffrey's. they're freaking identical, like identical. I'm not saying he's going to turn into Christian McCaffrey. That's not what I'm saying this for. But the Steelers did give us a great moment when the local kid from Mount Lebanon High School, in his navy dress blues, comes out on stage twirling a terrible towel in front of his hometown. I'm related to the Heidenreichs, by the way. I don't know how, but I grew up with his cousins.
This is where this moment has officially jumped the shark.
No, but it is weird. I got to text my mom and find out how we're related. But I played baseball, t-ball with his cousins, swam with them and everything. But it is weird. I'm related to the Heidenreich somehow. Don't know how.
Dan
but anyway, super cool.
Would not shut up about Eli Heidenreich throughout the entire pre-draft process, and he was very much a believer in this kid. So the fact that he didn't go until the 7th round, I think Steelers.
I thought it was a good pick. And then my losers, Katie, I'm going to agree with you. The Jags. I'm not a draft expert.
You would pick the Jags.
Well, first of all, I have a vendetta against their fans. Me and Jags fans are just, we don't mix. We don't mix. And it's not because I dislike them. They dislike me. So if you're going to dislike me, then fine. I'll talk shit about you. I don't care. Whatever. So I'm not a big Jags fan, but I'm a Jags fan hater. But everything I read about their draft was every pick was a reach. It didn't make sense. What are they doing? They don't have a vision. So for that reason, the Jags.
And the Jags fans seem pissed for the whole draft.
They weren't happy.
Good.
No, understandably so. All right, Carmen, we have kept you far too long. We are going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time and being a wonderful friend.
Unless you
Thanks for having me on your 100th episode, guys. That was really cool. Even if this wasn't the actual weird episode.
No, you make it the celebration though.
And we will get your smoker's jacket ready for the 5th time you are a guest on the Gridiron Podcast. Carmen Vitali from Fox Sports Radio, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Carmen. Thank you.
Bye, friend. Thank you.
All right, and then there were 3.
And now we're in the triple box.
Best friend of the show. Hi, friends.
Hi. We haven't got a chance to talk, just the 3 of us here since the chat room. But now would be a perfect time to shift gears. It would also be a perfect time to run the damn ball, Nick, but we don't have time to do that. We're shifting gears because Formula One is back, baby. The Miami Grand Prix. Coming at you hot and heavy because the 5-week hiatus for the Formula One season is officially over. We are recording on Thursday, and in about 18 hours from now, cars will be on track at the Miami Autodrome, a.k.a. the racetrack that they built around Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, which is not famously in Miami, Florida. But that's neither here nor there.
Where is it?
It's in Miami Gardens.
Where's that? I don't know where the gardens of Miami are.
It's north of the city. It's inland.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's like a half hour north of the city, right along I-95.
The more you know.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we have kind of a lot to talk about with Formula One, even though we're going on an hour here. But we handled this on the last pod. Over the 5-week break, Formula One and the FIA came together and they decided that they were going to make some technical changes to the cars after A, safety issues from the last race, and B, just a lot of headache and kind of complaints from the drivers. So we're not going to get into the details here. We did that the last pod. But basically, they're making it easier for cars to go flat out in qualifying because that was a big gripe from drivers and the fans. They couldn't go flat out in qualifying. They were coasting. They were downshifting in straights. It was a whole mess. It looked terrible. And then they are going to limit the closing speeds during the race so we don't have an accident like we had last time where Franco Colapinto and Ollie Behrman, almost collided right into one another until Ollie Behrman moved out of the way, wound up hurting his knee in a crash anyway because he was trying to avoid Franco Colapinto because those closing speeds were a 90-kilometer difference. It's not a good idea when you're turning a blind corner going 90 kilometers faster than someone else. And yeah.
I think that's like 54 miles per hour for those of you on the Imperial system.
Great work, Nick Shook.
Was he close?
Yeah, he was close.
Sweet.
Because 60 is 100.
All right, there we go. Sweet. The more you know. Yeah. All right. So there's some rule changes coming to Miami. The cars will be a little bit different in the way they operate. It's probably not going to be that noticeable because today, the media pen day for the drivers, Max Verstappen compared the regulation changes to a tickle.
I'm enjoying that way too much, way more than I should.
I was, guys, by the way, from the moment we came on the podcast, because I knew you had not read this article, I was like, I'm going to get him with the tickle. I'm going to get him with the tickle.
And you got us.
Coochie, coochie, coo. So, four-time world champ Max Verstappen called these regulation changes or tweaks, whatever you want to call them, a tickle. George Russell from Mercedes said they were good. Lando Norris, the reigning world champion, he toes the party line so well, but that's all he does. He is a company man. And then Lando Norris was kind of in the middle. That's kind of where he lands. He said, they're good. They're not going to change that much, but it's going in the right direction. And hopefully in the off season, that's when these big changes can come. There were never going to be monumental changes this season, even though the product has been, for the most part, pretty terrible and unwatchable. They can't just change the cars like that. They spent 2 years developing these things. They can't just 3 races in going, okay, new cars, change, poof. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So there will be changes in Miami. I'm interested to see if we will be able to notice them.
Me too.
Like watching the race. I think that's, if I can notice the changes, I'll be happier as a race fan in general.
I don't think it's going to produce the changes that we expect. I think it's going to be minimal, a little bit more than a tickle. Probably
Let me ask you this then.
Won't affect the order of the strength of teams. I think we're still going to see Mercedes, Ferrari, maybe McLaren makes a push, and then everybody else.
Let me ask you this to both of you then. If we see, and we're watching, by the way, I love when races are in North America because
I hate it.
Why?
I don't want a 4 p.m. Eastern race.
Give
me the morning.
I don't want a 2 a.m. Eastern race.
I like a good 9 a.m. Eastern race.
You know what the best is? A good midnight race.
Yes.
11 p.m. That's phenomenal.
Although the streaming deal that they have now makes it. It does. It gets out of hand, but it also makes it difficult to watch at a bar, which is usually the most enjoyable way to watch a midnight race. So,
true.
You're right.
So let me ask you this: if these changes come and we can see cars pushing flat out and qualifying looks more like it did since we became fans 6 years ago, will you be a little bit happier then?
Yeah, I'd be happy with any improvements at this point. I would like qualifying to look more like drivers going flat out and going for the fastest lap instead of trying to manage their battery with the hopes that they can put down the fastest lap. It's as simple as that. So yes, I would be excited if it did. I am very much a cynical person who needs to be proven, to have it proven to him that these things are actually going to happen first. So I'm not going to go in with any expectations.
I knew we'd get you. You were the last lone one that were like, you know what? I actually don't mind these regulations. This is
I don't think we potted after the last race. It was the last race where I texted you guys and I was like, all right, you know what, you guys, it does make for some compelling racing, but this shit sucks.
Spoiler alert, that shit has always sucked this entire season.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, Sean, it's a good question, but it's just such a big if. I just don't think that any changes are and I've said before, I'm not trying to be a contrarian just to be a little shithead, but the way that the regulations are this season, as long as I'm hearing super clipping, I don't have as much interest in that. Like I said before, I don't care about the world championship of battery deployment. So as long as we are working with these regulations, I'm happy they listened, because obviously there's an issue with the fans and with the drivers. I'm really happy they did listen. I just don't know what you can do at this point, because this has been in the works for 5-6 years, this regulation change, that we've known this was coming. I don't think the fix is just going to be that easy. Do I wish they could just go, okay, throw everything out the window and then go back to last year's regs?
Yeah.
I wish that could happen, but obviously that's not the reality of the situation, because you don't just make a car and design and put it together in a preseason. Just the nature of the sport. I'm glad they're trying. I'm curious to see if we notice a difference, but as long as super clipping is a thing that exists, I just don't have as much interest in it.
It's been in development for so long. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent on researching and developing and building these cars. It's not like you're going to be like, oopsies, these suck. Let's just bring back the last regulations. Everyone pull those cars out of storage and get them on track. Like, it just wasn't happening. At this point,
dust those puppies off.
I would rather watch the Lego F1 race, which I hope we get
too.
again, by the way. I really hope we get again. They've been teasing it. I think we're going to get it again.
I just don't really understand the further into the season that we get how nobody really foresaw this coming. Like, it feels like
They did.
A lot of drivers did. Verstappen especially. Yeah. He called it Formula E before they even got on track.
2 years ago.
It's true, but I feel like a lot of the teams feel a bit unprepared for this moment. Like, it feels like the sport as a whole is unprepared for what they're dealing with right now. Because you're right, I was worried about it heading in, especially because Max has been man, as someone who was not a Max fan and then episode by episode has become more of a Max fan, the fact that I'm on the same side as him with this, I'm like, shit, it is happening. I'm a total Max fan now.
Yeah.
But
welcome aboard.
I'm sad that, like, I worry that this could, I've talked about this before, that this could be the last of Max, and it's because of the regulations that he doesn't want to do this anymore.
I don't think it will be.
The way he's talking, he seems so miserable. It feels like he's not having fun. When you have a new baby at home, why would you want to keep doing this?
It's true, especially if you enjoy being a dad, and I think he does. I would like to do, in a perfect world in which long-form journalism survived and people actually still read it.
I would those days.
I know, same. R.I.P. Grantland, among many great long-form sites that have gone the way of history. I would love to do a long-form investigative piece into, like, how teams handle reg changes, how they handle transitions from one year to the next, and, like, see who's making the decisions and what the chain of command is and how they end up so far apart on certain things. Like, I would love to get deep inside these organizations and just, like, understand from being around it so much and talking to so many people exactly where the fractures are that cause, these teams to fall behind, and then also cause, teams like Mercedes to be so far ahead.
We got to get Pablo to find out about this.
Yes, Pablo.
Please find out. Not to quote our journalism professor, Carl Eidsvog from Kent State University, but Nick, what questions are you asking? Speaking of regulation changes, by the way, I did see an article today that in 2031, so, just around the corner, those regulation changes will go back to V8 cars, aka the screaming pitch of F1, and will significantly reduce the reliability. What's the
reliance
the reliance on battery power. They are instead going to shift more towards completely sustainable fuel,
which is what they should have done the whole freaking time.
That's how they're going to reduce their carbon footprint. Rather than
ethanol for 25 freaking years at this point,
rather than introduce more electricity into the car, they're going to still burn fossil fuels, but they're going to be sustainable. There we go.
And great timing. There's definitely no energy crisis we're heading into.
I'm sure we'll still be around by 2031. Totally, everything will be fine. This will be atop our list of concerns.
Things are only getting better, so it would naturally just.
So much winning.
I wasn't going to say it because I'm trying to be the optimist here, but if you guys are going to drag me down like that.
I will do that, and I will do it again.
You chose the wrong co-host to not drag you down.
Okay, first of all, Nick, you chose me, and then you also chose Katie, who basically got Shanghai into this podcast 4 years ago. Now we're 100 podcasts in.
Look, man, I like to bring people together and have a party together, okay? Doesn't mean that I have to be the optimist at the party.
Perfect. But I'm looking forward to those rule changes where it gets back to basically 100% racing, and I think they should have done that from the start. Sticking with Miami, however, another article today, McLaren has said they are bringing basically an entirely new car to Miami. Excellent.
That's exciting. It's also a big risk.
It is. I was thinking the same thing, and someone pointed out in the comments of the article I was reading, the last two times McLaren have, quote-unquote, brought an entirely new car, it sucked.
Yeah, big risk.
So it is. But at this point in the season, it's still so early. You had 5 weeks to work on your car because unlike the summer break where you're not allowed to work on your car or touch it or do anything, you're allowed to. They had 5 weeks to just tinker and tool and get back in the lab and the sim. It wasn't a vacation for a lot of people. So maybe it works. I mean, as the McLaren fan of me, I hope it works, but it could be a big swing and a miss because I feel like the last time out, McLaren were taking steps forward.
Best of luck to your team, and I hope that it all works out. But that actually leads me to a greater point that I was thinking about today on the Stairmaster, which is that...
Oh, glutes day, huh?
No, I do the Stairmaster every day. The 5-week gap has kind of taken F1 out of the consciousness in the sports world, but also at a kind of good time for it.
I think that was the best thing for them.
And yes, Katie, you're picking up what I'm putting down here. I think that like the scarcity that it produced will actually increase demand, and it'll be good for them in the long run. And they should maybe consider this when they build out these massive schedules from year to year.
Because Australia offered to host 2 races. Formula One said no. Silverstone offered to host 2 races, which we love Silverstone.
We love Silverstone.
Everyone
we don't love it for 2 races unless they do a reverse track layout in one of them.
Oh, I would take 2 races
That'd be
of
so
Silverstone.
sweet.
Yeah.
I'd rather have double Silverstone than just a non-race weekend, though.
Yeah. I've missed Formula One, and I'm excited. I am excited that the first race back is Miami. That'll be fun because I don't have anything to do Sunday afternoon, so I will be watching that race.
So you're saying I should get on a plane tomorrow and we'll go across the state?
Buddy, if you do that, I will call out sick on Sunday. I'll do it right now.
I want to, but I can't. It's too late.
Oh, I would if it wasn't in that country. I'm not going to name which one, but...
Customs, not
Florida?
Yeah. I love my country.
It is its own country.
Florida.
Yeah. It is its own country.
Half of the state is not in the United States. Let's do race predictions for the Miami Grand Prix. This would be the fifth annual Miami Grand Prix. Nick and I were at the first one.
$5 foot long. All right, anyway.
Doesn't exist anymore.
And because it is in Miami, it's actually pronounced Grand Prix, Sean.
No, stop it. Don't even put that in my lexicon. Who will win?
I don't have to. It is firmly in your lexicon.
Embedded, some might say.
It really is. That stupid Grand Prix show that I had to do for my station where I had to say Grand Prix over and over and over again because I was self-conscious because last year I said Grand Prix and everyone made fun of me for it.
It is my favorite, one of my favorite running bits of the pod. And then you've started correcting yourself every single time. Grand Prix.
What's funny is that we've learned that you can peer pressure Sean into doing things.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was evident from the start. By the way, I say Grand Prix like anytime I'm out in the wild. It's just when I'm on this podcast and I'm thinking about my words and trying to choose them clearly, for some reason the long A comes out. I'm just like, why? It's Grand Prix. You know it's Grand Prix.
See, that's why I don't think about my words. I just say them, Sean. It works wonders.
Yeah.
That's the key to happiness right there.
Talk first, think later.
Talk
Katie,
first,
your
later.
podium for the Miami Grand Prix.
P3, Kimi Antonelli. P2, Charles Leclerc. P1, Officer George Russell.
Officer?
I mean that in a derogatory sense.
I know you do. Nick, go for it, man.
P3, Lando Norris.
Ooh.
All right.
P2, George Russell. P1, Charles Leclerc.
Love that.
All right. I'm going to go P3. Lando Norris. He's won the last two. And I think McLaren will be quick still. I don't think they're going to bring a worse car. Like if they bring an entirely new car, it's for a reason. So I'm going to go P3, Lando Norris. I'm going to go P2, George Russell. P1, Kimi Antonelli.
Okay.
He was really quick last year, his rookie season in Miami. I think he'll build on that. I will go Kimi for the win, and I believe he is currently, it's been 5 weeks. He's still the world championship leader right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I really wanted to put Lewis P1, but I just couldn't do it. For you,
he
Katie.
got his first podium. I
thought he said 2 podiums. I don't. This season, it's so. I keep forgetting that it's so
the
early.
2026 season?
What year is it?
What year is this? I keep forgetting that it's still so early in the F1 season because I'm like, this season's been such a fucking
It's the longest
slog
bye week ever.
longest, and it just like it feels like we've been talking about these shit ass regulations for so long now.
Yeah.
Like free us.
It's like a football season, preseason shows up, and I'm all fired up for it for like a half of football and week 1 of preseason because I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, fresh tape. And then I'm like, that's preseason
free at
football.
last.
Ooh, and I will tell our
almighty, we are
listeners,
free at
I have a
last.
good news, bad news situation. I will be taking approximately a month off from the Gridiron podcast. I am leaving to go to Europe on March 19th.
And
March?
And-
March? You mean May?
I mean May. Time is a flat circle.
Holy shit, yeah. She figured
back
out time travel, guys.
And then I realized, I'm like, oh, should I book my flight? So I'm like, let me look up to see if there's any races around the time I'm there. So I'm flying into Lisbon and out of Barcelona. And
Say it right.
The Barcelona.
Thank you.
So the Grand Prix happens to be there while I'm there, which I was like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to get to go. And then I looked at hotel prices. I'm like, oh my God. In a different world, I would have been really excited. And I feel like I should go probably quali the Saturday, Sunday. So I'm thinking I'm going to go. I'm definitely not as excited as I would have been last year, but I'm trying to convince myself, you love F1, you love this sport, even if the regulations are ass, it's okay, you'll have a good time. Because I've never been to a race.
You got to have the experience. You got to go.
Katie, if I may just offer you some advice, do it. Just do it, man.
I know,
make more
and I
money
probably
later.
will, but
You'll make more
Do
money
it.
later.
Yep.
Do it.
I know.
Do it.
It's honestly, I would have been so excited, but I just feel so about this season, like I talked about on the last episode.
No.
But
Put those
Do
stories
it.
on a shelf.
I know. So I think I will be able to get us a bit of content from the Spanish Grand Prix.
We expect updates from
Nick.
Miss Katie Caldwell.
Can we crowdfund my Grand Prix
From
tickets?
Barcelona. I mean, hey, if you want to donate to Katie's ticket fund, the Gridiron Podcast 3. That's the Gridiron Podcast 3. Damn those other two and those ticket prices.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
We'll put her Venmo in there or her PayPal or whatever she has. Nick, let me ask you. We've been to one race. It was the same race. It was Miami back in 2021. Was that a good race?
No, but it was fun as hell.
Best day of my life, man. Best
Honestly,
freaking day of my life.
the support races before and the Porsche race were also awesome. Like, it was just an amazing day. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
We spent way too much on Heinekens and on
Yeah, we got our
chicken
last like
tenders.
6 free because it was my birthday. And the old
That's
lady at
true.
the stand was like,
You're 30
"I'll pour you
yet?"
a free one. Yeah, it was my 30th that day.
How many? I think I drank like 12 Heinekens, and I was fine because I was sweating them all out so
I didn't
fast.
take a single bathroom trip until we left. And
Exactly.
We were there for
No.
9 hours.
Katie,
and I
if
drank
you ever-
the whole time.
If you ever wondered like how hot Florida gets, like that's how hot. Like we were drinking nothing but beer the entire time, and we did not have to go to the bathroom because we were just sweating it out.
Yeah. Never
We
even
were
I
all
have
fine.
unfortunately been to Florida before. I mean, I've been to Florida.
No,
The-
too late. Sorry,
the
cat's already out of the
Yeah,
bag.
unfortunate-
it's already out there.
slipped in there.
I also, fortunate and unfortunate.
It's fortunate and it's unfortunate because I can't go. It's such a beautiful state. Like the things I see down here are so beautiful. It's like wow, there's
And then you see the
else, but
people, and you're like, ah,
And then you meet one Florida man.
we really are ruining
yeah.
the planet. Ah.
But I will also say, Nick and I were fine. We made it out alive. Our buddy Chris, not so much.
He died doing what he loved.
He
did.
almost did. He almost did.
He did.
He threw up into his. He bought
Merch
a
bag.
T-shirt. He brought it. Yeah. He threw up into his merch bag. He
On
took
the
his
bus.
stuff out of his merch bag, but threw up into the merch bag on
Very
the bus. on the
quietly.
same bus. Yeah, super quietly. And some random dude was sitting next to him, just like what? I'm like, he's fine. He just had too much to drink.
Then we got a mountain of chicken tenders at the Hard Rock Seminole Casino.
He got
And the rest
too
is history.
involved at the Grand Prix.
A literal mountain of chicken tenders. All right, this has been episode 90. No, it's been episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast. Thank you, everyone who has made this possible, especially Nick and Katie. We don't do this for money. We don't get paid a dime. This is literally just our Thursday nights or our Tuesday nights or our Wednesday afternoons.
So if anyone wants to sponsor us, there is availability. As well.
Yes,
would be
that's where I
cool.
was going with that.
It would be cool
We
to not
do
have
this.
to pay for this out of our pockets.
We do this out of love, but we have a blast doing it. It is literally just three friends shooting the shit about football and Formula One. We love doing it. We want to continue to do it. It's been 4 years in the making that we've gotten to 100 episodes, but it has been a labor of love. But for episode 101, you better be ready because we're about to frickin' rage.
I will be drinking throughout the entire episode, more than I usually do.
This is going to be a weird podcast, and we are going to have some fun.
So if you would like,
so.
Ooh, maybe I should try to drink a whole 12-pack on the pod.
I've got 2 bottles of Eagle Rare up there that I got for my birthday. Like, don't tempt me.
Don't challenge me to a drinking competition. Let me tell you, that'd be fun.
Anyways, what we're saying, you might want to tune in.
Like we were saying,
folks, that's a tease.
This is going to be a fun episode. Next week, we're coming at you for episode 101 to celebrate our 100th episode of the Gridiron Podcast. As always, you can email us at thegridironpodcast3. That's the Gridiron Podcast 3. Damn those other 2. Don't actually spell out damn those other 2 at gmail.com. Let us know what you would like to see from us in the 100th episode. We'll read out your emails. We'll have some fun. As always, you can also hit us up on Instagram at GridironPod. We're on IG at GridironPod, and then on TikTok at the.gridiron.podcast. For Nick Shook, for Katie Caldwell, and for Carmen Vitali, joining us for the 4th time on this podcast, soon to join the 5-timer club.
We love you.
This has been episode 100 of the Gridiron Podcast. We'll be back next week for the super wild, super weird, super wacky 101 episode of the 100th celebratory Gridiron Podcast. Good night, everybody. And as always, live life in the fast lane.
Good night, Canada.
Wacky, wild, Wumbo. I Wumbo, you Wumbo, he, she, me.
You had it set
they,
to Wumbo.
Wombology, the study